Hello and welcome to our first video here at the Royal Canadian Regiment Museum looking into rations from different eras. Today we're actually going to be looking at a set of rations from the early 1990s as well as a set from the late 2010s and sort of comparing them and seeing what has and hasn't changed.
So these rations here are standard issue for the Canadian Forces and are given to soldiers who are going to be in the field and far away from reliable kitchens. These are called IMPs, which stands for Individual Meal Pack. Soldiers would be issued 3 of these for each day, typically breakfast, lunch, and dinner, although there's a lot of trading and substitution that goes on, just so that people can find their favorites.
And these are really interesting because each ration pack has around 1,200 to 1,400 calories, which altogether is around 3,600 calories, which is quite a lot more than what the sort of average is they suggest for adults, which is sort of shows that they're actually meant for people who are very much working really hard during the day and expending a lot of energy. So they're actually well designed for a hard day at work.
All right, well, let's dive right in, starting with these older rations. In the interest of preserving artifacts, we're not going to tear open these bags, but we've got the contents of one that has come out, and we're just going to look at those. Starting off with the main entree, we've got the shepherd's pie here. And what you can see, this is in a small cardboard box, very little information, just says shepherd's pie. Inside of that is a foil bag called a retort pouch, or we're told that many people call them boilie bags, which sounds a lot better. And that would be heated up by immersing it in boiling water, although it's also perfectly safe to eat at room temperature, as is everything else included in the ration.
Cool, well we're going to actually be able to break into this one, which is also shepherd's pie. So, alright, so I'm going to open this and hopefully not launch it everywhere. That's my goal. Yeah, that went pretty well. So it's actually really neat, the inside's actually foil on. So let's see, there we go. So there is the entree box for this one, and we can actually open the container. Oh, this one's a lot. This is harder to open. There we go. And yeah, so it's that pouch, the foil pouch that can be put in the hot water, which is probably where it gets the term boilie bag. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So it's actually designed so that everything can be done from inside the bag, from in the bag. So you can heat it in this bag, you can eat it in this bag. And if I remember correctly, let me dig around in here for a second. Ah, there it is. The spoon has the extra long handle, so you can eat it right out of it. You can get right to the bottom using that, which is really cool. So that's a neat touch.
Yeah, definitely want to get everything you can out of there. So looking at these entrees, you know, they're very similar. Obviously, it's the same menu item, even across a span of 25, 30 years. And the major changes seem to be more what was provided than half. Packaging is all the same. The most notable changes are the implementation of an improved feedback system. In fact, if you look on the back of the more modern one, there's a QR code that takes you straight to the Facebook page for the Canadian rations, and they solicit feedback. They want to know if people like them. We don't see that on the older ones, of course. And really, they're constantly trying to introduce new options that people are going to like, and thus, the more you like the food, the better everyone's nutrition is. There's some new things like poutine or pork chow mein that have been introduced in recent years, and old favorites such as weenies and beans seem to currently be in production and have been for a very long time.
Yeah, it's a standard. It's a pretty staple meal.
And everyone likes it.
And everyone seems to like it. We're going to have a look at some of the other items in here. Why don't we start with dessert? Everybody likes desserts. It's date squares. That's awesome. So I had a little bit of tape to get in there. So I want to actually see what these look like.
Yeah, for sure.
They're also in a boilie bag, of course.
Everything's in a boilie bag.
Everything's in those. I don't know if I would heat date squares.
I don't think so, but I think
designed to be.
But it's secure packaging.
It's secure packaging, yeah.
Keeps them safe.
So those are pretty cool. Those actually might not be too bad. Maybe one snack.
Well, they look a lot better than dessert. Here seems to be these sliced peaches. I will point out this is almost 30 years old, and there are no solids remaining in this bag. It was probably pretty good at the time, but no date squares.
Yeah.
And no one's lining up to eat
No,
or
no.
drink.
I'm actually really impressed with the date squares because if you feel those, they're really solid. Like they're gonna hold up. Like
Yeah.
if you took it out of this container and shoved it in your pack, you're probably still gonna have something that's vaguely squarish.
Well, and these are meant to last for a couple of years sitting on the shelf and being thrown around and Lord knows what, right?
Yeah. Let's see. What do we got? I think we're gonna look at the drinks next.
Yeah.
Let's see what I can find. I have we have the Nescafe Coffee.
Fancy.
And that's actually, no, that's not it. Oh yeah, no, there's it. The ice flavored sports drink.
I'm not sure what ice
I'm not sure what
is.
ice flavored is. I'm just gonna lay that down so you can see more. But they also come with this lovely beverage bag, so you can make your drink up in it. So it's all nicely containable, folds flat, fairly handy that way, which is pretty cool. I like
Yeah, we really don't see that. There may have been a drink bag. We don't have one for the older one, or they may have just expected that you would have a cup. For the coffee, it's just 1 cup coffee. It's in a much plainer packaging. It's not, you're not going to find this on the shelf at the store.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a change. And we've got fruit beverage powder. Peach. Again, it's this very plain sort of military packaging, although that hasn't changed too much.
Too much, no.
And then we've got chocolate beverage mix, which is, I guess, hot chocolate,
Yeah.
and that's in there.
One of the changes I'm noticing is that we're actually seeing nutritional information on the boxes, but also on these packages. Like, for example, this one has this is the sports drink, it has 130% of their vitamin C in this packet, and I don't know if
There's no
there's
information.
no information for that. Yeah, that's pretty cool because you're actually seeing sort of what nutrition you're getting per item. You got 25% of your iron in your shepherd's pie. So you're working your way through and just sort of they're actually sort of keeping an eye on what nutrition you're getting. But yeah, at least you get ingredients and nutritional information on these, which is pretty cool.
Well, that's definitely an improvement, especially also if you've got an allergy or something. That way you can keep an eye, better than here where you're just kind of taking your chances.
Yeah, it's a bit more of a, let's see how it turns out. We also have some bread, which is quite interesting because their bread is a hamburger bun. Like
That's just
that's just literally what it is. How does yours work?
We've got petite pain bread.
Is it just bread? No.
It just says do not eat desiccant packet, and that's about all the information we get.
I guess that is good.
It's good advice. It doesn't seem too good. Again, this is close to 30 years old. No one's lining up to eat it, but I'm sure it got the job done.
Yeah. But it's the same concept though. It's still a bread
It's some bread.
product.
Yeah.
We've got toppings for the bread.
Okay.
We've got the peanut butter, and I've got strawberry jam, which is my favorite, which is quite good. So you can make a little sandwich with that pretty easily.
And we're seeing improvement. So you've got 2 things there. All we've got is marmalade. It says marmalade on it. That's about the extent of the information. And that's it for the bread. So there's definitely more variety, and we can see, I think, an improvement there in terms of you can make yourself a little PB&J sandwich on the go. In the newer one, it's a little more versatile with your plain hamburger, and in the older one, you don't have that option quite as much.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of sort of spicing things up beyond the toppings, I've got some little salt and pepper packets here. Nothing particularly interesting about them, but
what we've got is ketchup, just generic ketchup.
Okay.
Which I guess, considering both of these are set up for shepherd's pie, it's kind of an interesting.
I'd rather have the ketchup.
I'd rather have the ketchup too.
Well, now, and I see there some more exciting things.
I know, this is the thing. I feel like everybody saw that as soon as I pulled it out.
That's what you're after, right?
Yeah, so it's a full-size Kit Kat, and we've got Tic Tacs as well. So there's dessert and an after-dessert snack, I'd say. So that's a pretty big change. I don't think you have.
No, all I've got is a wet wipe.
We got the wet wipe. Okay, bring that over here. They have not changed.
Not one bit.
This is pretty much an identical.
100% the same. Yeah.
That is really, really cool.
But I think, beyond everything, one, this is a ton of food.
So much food, I couldn't.
Which, it's obviously much better to have too much food than too little. But these are meant for people who are working really hard all day.
Yeah.
And think that you're getting 3 of these a day. So that's just a ton of food to eat, and it's better to have too much than too little, I guess.
100%. You'd really rather. I'd rather save it to eat later than to be hungry.
Right. And what I'll say is, despite the age of all of this stuff, and even taking that into account, the new ones look a lot better than the old ones. There are definitely some big improvements.
Yeah, I think just the
the Kit Kat alone.
The Kit Kat alone goes a long way, but I like the fact that you just I don't think it would be that hard. And there is a possibility that one originally had peanut butter.
It could be.
It's possible because sometimes things don't always make it into collection.
Yeah.
But that one I would be so in for, and very happy to have as a thing, and having the sports drinks and stuff.
Well, and I see, there's commercial stuff, the comforts of home, right? You're getting the Nescafe coffee instead of Army brand coffee.
Yeah.
And
you
just
kind of know what to expect when you're getting it, kind of thing.
And it's more versatile. The dessert looks a lot better. Rather have a date square than
even new.
Even
if they
new
were
slices.
30 years old. Yeah, true.
I'm sure they're fine, but
a date square sounds a little bit nicer.
A little bit nicer.
A little bit nicer. So they have a whole bunch of these different types of kits today and in the 90s. So they, as we mentioned, they have a bunch of different meals options.
There's 20 plus menu options,
which is really quite cool. But it's interesting though, because 30 years things have changed, but they haven't changed as much as you'd think. With everything else that's been changing in that time period, one of the biggest technological revolutions is just putting a QR code to a Facebook page.
But you know what? It's that feedback mechanism. That's what enables them to make the improvements that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Someone had to say, hey, it'd be great if you put a full-size Kit Kat in here. That'd improve everyone's day.
So this is sort of been our first video talking about these two different sets of rations. We're hoping to do more in the future. The museum collection has a number of different ration sets from different time periods, so we're hoping to explore those a little bit more in the future. So thank you very much for joining us today. If you want to learn more about the Royal Canadian Regiment Museum, please check out our website at www.thercrmuseum.ca. You can also find us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, so please follow us to keep up to date about the different programs happening here at the museum.